Movie Man here, ready to guide you through Apocalypse Z, the beginning of the end, a Spanish zombie thriller that's as grim as it is oddly charming. Picture this. It's Christmas time in Galicia, and our hero Manel, a lawyer who also runs a solar power company, is yelling at his pregnant wife, Julia, about not wanting kids. Talk about killing the holiday spirit. No sooner did they finish arguing than bam, car crash, wife dead. And that's just the sad beginning.
1 year later, Manel is holed up in his house in isolation with only his cat Lucolo for company. He's depressed, wearing a permanent grump face, and completely ignoring a deadly new virus, TSJ, wiping out Europe. This virus is basically World War Z meets Spanish bureaucracy. It makes people into fast, bloodthirsty zombies, but the government insists, nothing to see here, people, while panic spreads. Classic cover-up move. Kind of like hiding a wine spill under the rug and hoping no one notices. Christmas dinner from hell. Imagine spending Christmas Eve at your sister's place, complaining about diapers, then driving home to, surprise,
your wife dying in an instant. That's the tone setter for this movie. Manel's refusal to have kids seems crummy, but lose your spouse in a car crash. That's next level tragedy. When they get home, he's suddenly alone, yelling at a cat about compost or something. This guy was so eager not to end up with kids, and now he's been left with nobody to blame but a very disapproving cat.
It's a bit like 28 Days Later and the road had a baby. Sudden catastrophe. One lone family man wandering in empty countryside. Except here, there's a cat, the world's least helpful survival partner.
But you have to love them.
While Manel is sulking, zombies are taking over Europe. But he couldn't care less at first.
About it, literally hiding zombies from the people. Spoiler. That never ends well. TSJ spreads fast and makes people freaky aggressive. Think of it as COVID's evil cousin who bites you instead of coughs on you. Eventually the virus mutates so you turn in minutes after getting a bite. Luckily for Manel, and unfortunately for everyone else, it only spreads through contact. Airborne plague. Nah, at least we don't have to wear gas masks, just watch those sharp claws. Meanwhile, Manel gets a video call from his sister Belen and nephew Carlos, who've evacuated to the Canary Islands. Manel promises he'll join them, just as soon as he finishes selling his yacht, which he never completes because the buyer wants something more modern. Nothing says post-apocalyptic priorities, like trying to make a yacht sail when the world's ending. But hey, at least the yacht and Julia are happy memories sailing off together.
Before he can flee Spain, the government slams the borders shut and declares martial law. Manel's flight is cancelled. The roads are jammed with desperate people. Imagine the worst Christmas traffic jam, only it's fighting zombies instead of finding the last parking spot. Manel abandons his car and treks home on foot, scuba gear and all. We'll get to that scuba suit in a bit.
Ever seen news clips of highways full of cars during an evacuation? Picture that, but in Spain. The virus in Apocalypse Z is a bit like a warning shout out to our own disasters, governments fumbling, borders closing, and the rest of us crying, why didn't we stock up on toilet paper and vodka?
The suburban zombie scuffle back home. Manel hides out in his house. He practically plays peek-a-boo with an infected man outside. First our guy lets zombies mess with 2 policemen. One cop kills the zombie and then immediately offed himself. Happy New Year, buddy. The other cop then turns into a zombie. Moral of the story. Even zombies have bad aim. Either way, Manel realizes he's on his own and boards up his windows. Home sweet home. Now with 100% more barricades. 2 weeks in, food's running low and the phone lines are dead. Our poor protagonist hasn't heard from anybody. Belen's family? Radio silence. The world? Also radio silence. Except maybe a slow drip of ominous announcers saying, "Please remain calm." A phrase that never calms anyone. In the newspaper of doom. Headlines basically read, "Zombies are here. You're not ready." Gabriella, wheelchair Wonder Woman. While scavenging for scraps, Manel meets Gabriella, an old lady in a wheelchair who's been left behind in the evacuation. Think The Witcher, but with Spanish granny vibes. She's feisty and still has a spark of hope. She and Manel team up, because misery, and canned beans, is best shared. They gear up. Manel straps on a diving suit and a spear gun. Why a diving suit? Because plot convenience. It keeps zombie teeth from puncturing skin. PSA. Not a recommended zombie survival strategy. But it looks cool. Gabriella speeds around on her wheelchair like a one-woman tank, and together they loot neighbors' houses. They even find an old motorcycle in a garage. One motorbike now grants you +2 survival points in this game. Movie man tip. If you ever fight zombies, bring a worried cat, emotional support. An unlicensed mini-tank granny exhausts all zombie ammo. A motorbike, because every horror movie needs high-speed escape. They stockpile canned food and have a feast. For 2 lonely survivors, even stale crackers taste gourmet. Olé! They cheer. Spirits temporarily lifted, until Gabriella hears a broadcast. The radio says all survivors should evacuate via Rauza estuary to the Canaries. Finally a plan. The friend duo vows to sail to safety. But horror strikes. Next morning, Manol finds Gabriella has taken her own life, leaving a note about not wanting to slow him down. Man, talk about self-sacrificing. Gabriella basically micromanaged her exit like, hope this doesn't ruin your breakfast burrito plans. Manol is heartbroken, but duty calls. There's a world to escape.
Guns, boats, and Russians, oh my. Now flying solo, Manol drags himself to the docks. Boats. All gone. So he hops into an inflatable dinghy and rows to Pontevedra. Who pops up there? A ragtag bunch of Russian mercenaries led by the gruff Captain Yushakov. Yes, you heard that right, Russian sailors in northwest Spain. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean 7, Cold Waters, or maybe Red October, Zombie Edition.
Among them is Victor, a Ukrainian ex-pilot. He warmly, neutrally, informs Manol that the Canary Islands are also in full quarantine. So much for that plan. Victor recruits Manol to help search wrecks and supplies. Everybody's lying low on food, and apparently shooting survivors is not off the table. We'll get to that. Victor isn't pure evil. He actually tries to do the right thing. Yushakov, classic survivalist villain. Building a private sanctuary island and running refugees is forced labor. Think a low-budget starvation game set on rocks.
These Russians are the mad cultish types, similar to what you might see in a creepy Fallout vault or a sketchy corner of The Walking Dead. The bunker full of slaves vibe is pure horror flick setup. If you ever doubted that survivors would eat their own, here's your proof. Moral compass. Manol gets suspicious when he sees the crew plundering a boat of survivors overnight. The next morning, those refugees are locked away and stripped of their stuff. When Manol suggests they head to a hospital nearby, apparently there's a helicopter there. Yushakov shrugs. Victor steps in, he believes in helping people. A huge fight nearly breaks out between the Russians, but instead they just lock Manol up with the immigrants. Predictably, one guard tries to kill the trapped refugees. Russian guard shoots first refugee equals 1 dead. Victor bashes guard's head equals 1 dead guard. Manol and Victor toss remaining refugees in a motorboat and, oh, snap, Marine rebellion. During the chaos, the last guard kills another refugee, and Victor is wounded by gunfire. It's like every horror thriller rolled into one scene. 3 rescued refugees kind of plus a hero and Manol slip away. Hospital hideout and final stand. They speed away in that stolen motorboat to Pontevedra. Manol's gut says, head to the hospital where Julia died. Maybe they have a helicopter. But when they get there, no helicopter on the roof. Of course not. The virus is too busy eating brains to play nice with lift service. But the hospital is surprisingly occupied. Nurse Lucia is patching people up, a kind nun Sister Cecilia, and 3 scared kids are hiding in the vents. It's like an episode of Lost, if the island were made of zombies instead of smoke monsters. Manol drags Victor inside to treat his wound. Nurse Lucia gives Prichenko an injection. He'll live, just needs a power nap, presumably. While hiding, Lucia casually points out another chopper parked outside in a courtyard. Jackpot. Now it's a stealth mission to reach it with zombies around. As our crew sneaks out, Gwen the nun takes a zombie bite and chooses to stay behind to hold the door. That, sacrifice your life, trope is strong here. Cecilia really wanted to go offline, probably needed a bathroom break. I bet Sister Cecilia is last seen yelling, Ave Maria, as she goes full on, Azazel mode. Finally, Manol and the others, Lucia, the kids, Prichenko and maybe dog cat Lulu, make it to the helicopter. They're about to seal off the door and lift off, when Yushakov and his merry band show up to ambush them. Uh-oh. A firefight breaks out on the helipad fence. Manol, always quick thinking, slashes open the lock and unleashes the horde of zombies trapped below. Turns out unblocking zombies onto your enemies is like the best deadly trap. Yushikov's men get overwhelmed by undead, and chaos ensues.
With zombie teeth at their backs and Russian bullets flying, Manil finally hops into that copter with Lucia and the kids, and they escape. Up, and away to safety, or so they think. What happened to Belin's call? Mid-flight, Manil gets Belian on speakerphone. She's holed up in the Canaries, apparently okay. Then she screams, fighter jets are zooming by. Something's gone very wrong. Belian is panicked, telling Manil, stay away. Don't even try, what could be worse than a zombie uprising? The movie leaves it there. Are they moving the protagonists from Spain to hell? That cliffhanger is pretty dark. Were the Canaries nuked or quarantined? Maybe someone in the government got really tired of outsiders, or they're clearing the whole island with jet fighters.
It's a cold and ambiguous ending. Our heroes survived this round, but the world remains full on apocalypse. It's like Pacific Rim where you beat one monster and a bigger one shows up off screen. We don't know yet if there's a sequel, though rumors say one's in the works. For now, it's up to your imagination. Maybe they find a safe haven, maybe they face fighter jets, maybe Netflix gets weird with alternate endings.
Movie Man's takeaways. So, what do we make of Apocalypse? It's a gruesome yet oddly warm, in a zombie way, ride.